Hi, today's lesson will discuss the big picture of playing Bebop Accompaniment. Is it just random? Some think it is. As a music student and opera singer I knew at the conservatory, thought that just piano accompaniment was completely random. And of course it's not random, but have you ever zoomed out trying to see the big picture of what is going on? That's what this lesson is all about. So let's start by listening to one example. Please pay close attention to how I play the Bebop Accompaniment. So that was me playing some bebop. I hope you liked that. And now I'm going to speak about my philosophy and way of thinking when I play accompaniment, and then I'm going to show you some examples. First of all, let's give some credits to Jazz Master Tracks. I use their Playing Along app with permission. The tune is called Why Don't I? This is a very good one, so the quality here is excellent, and I highly recommend that you get this app yourself. If you love bebop, you're going to love this app. This is what it looks like, so you can slow down things, you can mute the piano, so you can be the pianist of the band, and so on and so forth. You can create loop points. You can learn a lot of stuff and play together with these amazing guys. Link to this one is in the description. Now let's speak about my philosophy, and this is my way of thinking when I'm playing bebop accompaniment. So when I do, my main job is to support the soloists and let them shine. Also, I like to have fun when I play, and I don't think it should be too serious. You should play music, right? And I also like to give everything and surrender to the moment, where I don't hold back anything. And just like anything else we're doing, you should also take some chances, or at least I like to take some chances. And I also like to improvise the way I play accompaniment, so I like to listen to how the others are playing, and I let that decide what I play. One important thing is that in order to become better at playing accompaniment, you need to practice. Ideally, you should play together with other people, but sometimes you cannot do that. So then playing with play-along tracks can be very helpful, but it will not give you the same thing because you cannot have the back and forth interaction with the rest of the band. In other words, you can adapt to what they are playing, but they cannot adapt to you. So it's a little bit like this. You see the guy on the very left, he is on mute, but he can hear what's going on and he can even say things. But of course, the rest of the people, they cannot hear him. But it's still better, in my opinion, than playing with just a metronome or iRig Pro. Now, let's have a look at the big picture from the perspective of the 4 core elements when we play bebop accompaniment. So the strategy right now is to get the big picture first, and then I'll follow up with examples from the Why Don't I recording. I think we should always look for ways to tweak the 4 core elements when we play music. This is part of the secret to play well, I think. Always keep in mind how are you tweaking the harmony, the melody, the dynamics, and the rhythm as you're playing. Let's speak about the harmony because, of course, when you play accompaniment in bebop, you are playing a lot of chords. So now make sure that you vary the types of chords that you're playing. You can vary the alterations you use. Sometimes you play a flat 9, sharp 9, flat 5, and sharp 5 alone and combined, right? That's one way of doing it. You can change the range. Where are you playing on your keyboard? Mid-range, high range, etc. And of course, you can tweak the types of chords you're using. In the recording I did, I used all of these chords, shell chords, block chords, and so on and so forth. So I used all of them at least once. The point is that you should vary the way you play the harmony. And the same goes for the melody. And now I'm speaking about the melody as you're playing the harmony, because you're playing the chords, right? But you can also create a sub-melody as you are playing the chords. I'm going to show you an example of that very soon. And also, when the horn section plays the melody, since the melody is pretty much the same each time, it's good to arrange approximately how you would like to play the chords. That's what I did in the tune Why Don't I? And consider playing the melody at some point, for example, in the end. And also, when the others are playing solos, you can create a sub-melody on the fly, and this requires that you listen carefully to how the soloist plays, what the bassist is playing, and the drums. And one more time, you are here to support them and to be a part of a collective musical experience. And that brings us over to the next core elements. When you play bebop, the music is usually very loud all the time in volume, right? But there are some ways you can vary how you play dynamically. So for example, when the soloist is playing louder and more intense, you can support that by playing wider chords and louder. So if you play wider chords and louder, it's giving a loud experience. If you play tight chords, that gives a soft experience. And you should also look for bounces in the music. I'll show you an example of that soon. And you should find places to not play. And when it comes to the rhythm, you can vary between playing syncopations versus on the beat, and you can vary between playing staccato versus sustained chords. Those are just 2 examples of what you can do. So now, let's have a look at some examples, and these are all based on what I just spoke about. When you get a play-along app, or if you go to the real book, you often get sheets that looks like this, right? So there are no instructions for you how to play those chords, right? So now it's up to you, and you got to make some variations of the types of chords you're playing. And I already mentioned that you can vary the alteration use, the range, and the chord types. So now in example 1, I'm going to show you where I play the sub-melody, and I now made a clip for you. So now I have a louder piano, so you can hear the piano better than you can hear the rest of the band. And you can also hear that I'm using some voice leading. So this is what I'm speaking about. You're creating a new melody underneath. And voice leading is, in music, the technique of arranging individual melodic lines or voices to move smoothly and logically from one chord to another, creating coherent harmonic progressions. So without further ado, let me play for you that clip, and then we'll speak about it. So did you get that? I was clearly playing a sub-melody underneath, right? So the way I chose to play the chords was with a sub-melody, and if you didn't catch that, I'm going to play it for you one more time. And now I have stripped away everything in my chords except for the top notes. So you will see me play the full chords, but you'll only hear the top note. So let me play for you that clip. you got it this time. If not, you can download and study the clips together with the sheet music. Now let's move on and speak about the chord types. And I used multiple chord types through my recording, as I said. So now I made a clip where I display the various chord types I used, or at least some of them. So pay attention now to the yellow numbers showing which kinds of voicings I was playing at the first part of the tune. And without further ado, let me play that clip for you. And the winner is rootless stripped chords. For the most part, I played some shell chords and A&B voicings and rootless upper structure chords. Please note, the chord types are sometimes combined. So, for example, you can play rootless upper structure chords together with A&B voicings. Remember, this is just the perspective of chord types. There is a lot more going on. For example, you can play staccato versus sustained or legato. And you can play syncopations off beats. And you can play on the beats. And you can play many variations of alterations and extensions from the second layer, which is 9, 11, and 13. And you can play third layer chords, usually on the dominant 7th chords, sometimes flat 9, sharp 9, flat 5, sharp 5, alone and combined. So this is what we're going to have a look at in example number 2. So in this example, we're going to cover how to support the soloist, syncopations or on the beat, and staccato versus sustained chords, and more of the various chord types. I'm going to play the clip for you, but there's a lot of information in this little clip. So what I suggest that you do is to pay attention to one thing for now. So for example, you can pay attention to the MIDI keyboard, the chord progression, the chords are played sustained or staccato, if the chords are played on the beat or syncopated. And then of course you can pay attention to the type of chord. And here's the result. This was a trumpet solo, and as you can tell, I was playing more sustained chords than staccato chords. I was playing far more syncopations than on the beat. For the most part, I played rootless upper structure voicings or chords, and fourth voicings, the McCoy-Tyner style chords. What is the point of all of this, right? The point is to raise your awareness about what is going on in the music. And remember, this is just one example where the analysis is done after the recording of the video. So while I'm playing, I don't count the number of times I play staccato or how many times I play upper structure voicings and so on. But instead, I listen carefully to how the other musicians are playing. And then I try to play the chords that I think will fit. There is no time to think while I play, right? So it all just come out when I'm playing. And to be able to do that, you know, it can be smart to practice systematically so that you are ready to play it all on demand while you are in action, right? So then you reduce the latency from the ideas in your head to what comes out when you play. That's the whole point. And by the way, I'm going to sneak this in as well. If you enjoy having a systematic approach to learning jazz piano, all of the things mentioned above is covered throughout the Jazz Piano Step by Step course. You can sign up for 14-day free trial. No credit card is needed, and link to that is down below. Now let's move on to example number 3. The third and last example covers dynamic changes, and now you should support the soloist. So when the soloist is playing louder and more intense, you can support that by playing wider chords and louder. And also look for bounces. Listen to how the drums are playing. And what we're after when we play bebop is to improvise and search for collective peaks in the music. This can be when the music is swinging a lot, often in combination with the peak of a solo. So I will illustrate that now in the next clip. There are a couple of small bounces and one big one. So here's an explanation of what you'll see on the screen. If you have a look at the top, the I is a saxophone, right? So the I stands for intensity, and the W stands for the width of the pianist, right? And the B stands for bounces. So listen to how I was playing and when it's bouncing a little bit extra in the music. As I said, the job is to let the others shine when you play accompaniment, but once there is a piano solo, now is the time when you get to shine and the others are supporting you. I think playing accompaniment is fun. It's definitely not random, and as we have seen, there is a lot going on. There are many things I could have mentioned, but the key takeaway is this. You need to practice systematically, study what others have done, play together with others, and experiment a lot to improve. Eventually, defining what you like and how you play accompaniment can be very smart. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, leave a comment, or consider becoming a student or jazz piano supporter. In the next video, I will show you some tips for playing jazz ballads, so make sure you stay subscribed. I leave the music playing now, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care of your music. Bye.